My name's Bill Garachinski. I work with the KW Marketing Center. Hey, how's it going? Come on in. Just kind of getting started. Um, and I help with all the offices in Bergen County Partners. Basically help all the agents with their marketing. We're kind of like the one-stop shop for all of your print marketing. So this is going to be any sort of direct mail campaigns you want to run. If you need property brochures for open houses and you want some professional printed brochures, flyers, things like that. You need to get your signs on here. You can come to KW Marketing Center and order your signs on here. Door hangers, note cards, anything like that, anything that's printed, we can help you out with. If you don't see a template on here, maybe it's something that there's not a lot of, a ton of demand for, like let's say something like a big banner for the side of a commercial building. We do that too. You could always reach out to me. Chances are, if it's printed, we can do it for you. Today, what I'm going to be going over is how you can kind of utilize our platform to create a farming area, a targeted list, and how you can kind of automate that a little bit and really farm them and try and generate leads using direct mail. So what I'm going to do is really it's going to start with creating a farm, creating an area. Yeah, come on in, have a seat. There's a couple different tools that we have on our website here that you can use to create a list for free. But the one I'm going to kind of focus on is our targeted list tool. It's the only tool on our website that costs any money, but I do believe that if you're going to start farming an area or an audience, or you're going to start doing a direct mail campaign, it's worth spending the money because really these lists, they only cost like 25, $30. It's not like you're going to break the bank, but it's going to help you to not waste money sending to people that maybe bought their house last year or 2 years ago, because right, they're probably not going to move. You're trying to generate listings, you're trying to look for people that are potentially going to sell. So this is the home page here. When you log in, this is what you're going to see. But I'm going to go to menu and I'm going to go to mailing lists. And at any point during this, if anybody has questions, you can just stop me, just shout out, or if I'm going too fast, it's totally fine. So once I click mailing list, it's going to show you all the lists that you have saved in your account. If you don't have any lists, this will be blank. But our site's pretty intuitive, so it's going to be pretty straightforward. You'll click create a new mailing list. Now, when you get to that page, after you click that, you'll see all the different tools that we have to build a list. And I'm going to kind of go through a few of these just to kind of show you how it works. And then we're going to finish up with this target list tool. So right off the top, radius and freeform, I usually kind of go over these together. I just show agents freeform because if you understand freeform, you'll understand radius. This is really going to be used for if you want to target a specific area, section of a town, or something like that. You could type. You could start by typing in an address. I'm going to just type in, let's just say Park Ave, Rutherford. You could type something specific. Whatever you type in up there is going to be this center pin. Now, if this was the radius tool, this would just be a circle that shrinks and expands. But because I chose freeform, I can kind of click and drag these and kind of have control over, the exact area that I want. So you can be a little more specific. Once you highlight the area, you click find addresses. It's going to tell you the total number of addresses in that area up here. It's also going to give you a list of them down here of all streets. At this point, if you wanted to, you could uncheck a street and you can see that there's zero selected. Or you could go into the street and say, hey, I know a realtor lives here at 34 Donaldson. I don't want him to get it. I'm going to uncheck that address. What's more than likely going to happen is you're going to highlight an area. It's going to be too big. So you're going to want to hit clear selection, hit OK. And then you could just kind of refine it and say, okay, 864 is too many. We want to narrow it down, kind of repeat the process, get down to 500, and then go down here to save your list. Pretty simple. I always tell agents, name the list something appropriate, not like list one, list two, list three. As you start building more, it just could get confusing. So that's the freeform tool. City street select, I'm not even going to click into it. It's really straightforward. You type in a zip code, you get a list of every address in that zip code. You can bounce around alphabetically. So if you know certain streets that you want to hit, you can do it that way. EDDM, this is a different form of mailing. It's called Every Door Direct Mail. You may have heard of it before. It was popular a while ago because the benefit of it is a little cheaper per piece. The downfall is you have to mail by postal carrier route. So if the postal route has 670 addresses, you have to mail 670 cards. You can't say, I don't want this address, I don't want this street. So what I've seen over the last few years is a lot of agents are using this only when they get up into quantities that are really high, where I'm mailing to a whole town, I'm mailing to multiple towns, because then the savings really starts to become significant. For those of you guys that are kind of starting out, you're probably not going to utilize this just because the benefit of a targeted list is going to way outweigh it. For an extra 10 cents a card, you're going to be able to say, okay, I'm going to eliminate, people that bought their home in the last 5 years. I'm going to eliminate people that are under the age of 30, or have no equity, different things like that, where it's just going to make sense to kind of pick and choose who you're going to mail to. The other important thing is, cost. If you're a newer agent, obviously the big thing is keeping your costs down. Anytime you're going to want to start creating a farm and a direct mail campaign, the number one thing I tell agents is start small. The biggest mistake people make is like, I'm a new agent, I'm going to send out 3,000 cards to the whole town to tell everybody I'm an agent. And then nobody calls them and they're like, I just wasted all my money. And I'm like, yeah, you probably did. Because the reality is no one's going to pick up a card from someone they've never seen before and say, hey, honey, I'm going to call this guy John and sell our $1 million house with them. You kind of have to build a relationship with them, so to speak. And that comes over with consistency. So I'm always an advocate of, all the biggest teams, the biggest agents that I work with that now mail to whole towns or multiple towns. They didn't start doing that. They started with a few hundred addresses, and it's really a long-term goal. That they started with a few hundred, they got a listing out of it. Then that few hundred turned into maybe five, 600, and it turned into 1,000. And now 3 or 4 years later, they have a farm, an audience they've seen them every day, every month in their mailbox. They've kind of built their brand up, and now 3 or 4 years later, that's now your brand's established and you have a pipeline of leads coming in. So getting into this target list tool here, whether you're going to start mailing or you just want to find out some information about an area, this is a great tool. Just go ahead and click in the targeted tool. It's going to ask for a zip code. You can do it by zip code, or you can switch to a radius if you just want to find out some information about your neighborhood. I'm going to use the entire zip code of Rutherford as a starting point. And you can add multiple zip codes if you want. You can do it across multiple towns. And then I'm going to hit select demographic criteria. So we're partnered with a company called USA Data that compiles data from credit cards, mortgages, things like that. So let's say we're trying to get listings in Rutherford. So we're going to say, okay, in Rutherford, what do I want? I got homeowners and renters. We want homeowners. So you kind of got these three boxes here. You got all these categories with options. Once you click a category, values come up here. And then whatever values you want to target, you add them over to here. So I'm going to just kind of make some stuff up here and we'll see what kind of numbers we get. So we're going to start with homeowners. NAR told us that 75% of the people that sold their home last year were over the age of 45. So I'm going to highlight everybody over 45 here. So now I'm looking for homeowners over the age of 45. And I think the average amount of time that they spent in their home before they moved was, I believe it was 7 years. So let's go ahead and say 9 years or more. So we're looking for homeowners in Rutherford over 45 that have been in their home 9 years or more. And then I'm going to click get my count. It's going to tell me how many addresses fit that criteria. And it's going to tell you how much it would cost to buy that list. So this obviously didn't narrow it down too much. You're at 2,700 addresses and it would cost $139. So we want to see how we can narrow that down even more. So let's just say we want to focus on people that have been there 15 years or more. And we also want them to have no children present. Maybe there's a downsizing opportunity. Their kids have kind of gone off to college or moved out, and now they got this big house and they don't need it anymore. And then I'll kind of click get my count, and we'll kind of go back and forth with this until we kind of get a number that we like, or criteria that we want. there's two things that'll happen once you do decide to purchase a list. So now we've got it down to 871. It's only $46 to purchase a list. When you purchase a list, it's going to get saved in your account, and then you'll also be able to download it as a spreadsheet. I've seen agents use this tool to buy a bigger list because they want all the data, and then they might sort the list themselves in Excel. Let's say they buy a list of 800, 1,000 addresses, but they say, I'm starting a campaign and I only want to send out 200 cards a month. Okay, well, out of those 800,000 addresses, I'm going to start a campaign to the 200 people that are the oldest or have lived there the longest, or maybe they do home equity and have the most equity in their home, and start a campaign that way. I've also seen agents kind of really narrow it down and kind of play around with this a lot, and get a list of exactly 250, 200 addresses and just say, this is my farming list, that's who I'm going to farm to. I bring up that number because that's usually what I recommend kind of agents starting out at around that 200 card number. But you can go down to as little as 50. You can go up as high as you want to. But again, I kind of always advocate for starting smaller and being consistent with it. So this is a kind of a great tool to kind of use, to kind of narrow down your area. And like I said, even get some information about your area. I was working with an agent in the regional office the other day. She was targeting a community, and she said, really in this community, younger people buy I think it was either condos or townhomes. They stay there for a few years, then they have kids and they outgrow it and they leave. So she used a radius tool, basically highlighted that community on the map and said, okay, I want all the people that are under the age of 40, that have been there 4 years or more. And these are people that bought maybe 4 or 5 years ago. They probably have kids now, they're on the younger side and they're potentially outgrowing it. So that community of, let's say, 600, 700, 800 addresses, she was able to narrow it down to like 250, 300 addresses and say, okay, these are the people that are like prime candidates to sell. So she's going to start a farming campaign to them. So that's kind of how the tool works. Now, as far as content and what you want to send, we have a whole bunch of different templates here. Whether you want to do seasonal farming, holiday cards, whatever it is, you have just listed, just solds that you want to send out. There's a bunch of templates in here. If you're somebody that likes to work in Canva or you're kind of familiar with Canva, we're fully integrated with Canva. You can design your own stuff there, upload it here, and have us print them and send them out. And really what's unique about kind of what we do that does it a little differently, is we have something called Easy League QR codes on all of our mailings. So everybody knows what QR codes are. There's nothing special. Anybody can make them for free. But what we do is a little different. Because we built the website and we have our own print facility that we print everything. A lot of companies are saying we have trackable QR codes. And what they mean by that is someone scans it and it goes to a form and it's like, give me your name, email address, phone number, etc. And everybody just closes out of those. Nobody fills them out because no one wants to give away their information. So we said, okay, well, we know where every postcard's going because it's addressed to a certain person. So we developed a system where if you send out 500 postcards, our system creates 500 different QR codes. And there's a unique QR code on every card that goes out. So when one of those QR codes gets scanned, we're able to send you the exact address that scanned it without them filling out any type of form. They don't know it. It goes to whatever link you want them to go to. And you get a notification immediately via email or text, whatever you prefer. That's going to let you know, hey, the person at this address scanned your QR code, and basically engage with your mail. So it's another layer of lead generation. It's no additional cost. It's just what we do on all of our mailings now. And I tell agents it's kind of a way to get upstream a little bit and capture people in that consideration phase. Because the reality is, when you're sending out direct mail, I like to compare it to like kind of like a billboard. It's in someone's hand for a few seconds, they see your face, your brand, and then a lot of times it's getting tossed. What the QR code allows you to do is maybe it's going to capture them for a second, and it's going to strike something where, for a lot of times, our agents will say, scan here for a virtual tour of the property or a 30-second market update. I'm a big advocate, if you're using social media, to send it to your social media. Obviously, that puts a little more onus on you guys as the agent, to have your social media and have it up and running at a high level. But to me, it's helped driving people to your social media. when you can put 30 seconds or something like that in the call to action, people are more likely to scan it, because they know you're not asking for information, it's a video. And if you can drive them to your Instagram, for example, now if you're posting on a consistent basis there, they might say, oh, wow, this is a lot of good information. I'm going to follow them. And now you're getting even more pieces of content in front of them. So that's something that's basically going to be on any card that you send out, whether you choose a template with us, or whether you decide to design something yourself on Canva, and upload it here and have us send it out. All you need is a URL. You basically copy and paste the URL into the workflow, and and our system generates a QR code for you. So, for example, I'll just to kind of take you through the workflow of a template in here, just to kind of show you how it works. You'll choose any template you want. I'm just going to pick a random, transaction template. It's going to populate with all the information that is in your profile already. There might be some different front options and some back options. I'll click next. It'll go to the front. Um, it'll give you the different front options to choose from. You can choose just listed, another home sold, under contract, whatever it is. You can upload your photo here from your computer. And then our templates are designed to be plug and play. You basically just type in whatever you want, fill out the fields, and kind of go from there. You could, as you type in each section, it's going to populate on the little proof there, and you'll be able to see it kind of come up. I'm not gonna fill out everything. You'll fill out the front, go to the back. You might have a two-agent back or whatever it is, or you'll just use the regular back. There's usually pre-written text there. If you want, you could change it, write whatever you want in there. All your information is gonna pull in here. And that's basically it for the back. And then over here, you got your easy lead step. This is where the QR code is going to go to. So you can change the call to action based on where you're going to send the link to. It's going to default to whatever website's in your profile. If you want to change that, you just hit change, paste in a URL, and hit update. And then that QR code will now go to that URL. You can turn on text notifications if you want. Otherwise, it's going to default to email notifications. And then that's it. Your card's ready to go. You'll attach a mailing list. Whether you created one ahead of time, you can hit add existing list, or you need to create one here. You can create it in the workflow. I'm just going to add one for my account here. And then you'll get to the ordered step where you'll see a final proof. You're able to look over everything, double check that everything's right, where the QR code's going, how many you're sending out, whether you're sending out marketing mail or first class. Most of the time you're going to send out marketing mail. There's really no reason to send out first class unless there's a specific event you're trying to get it in homes for. And then you're going to check the box to approve your proof, add to your cart, and check out just like any other online web store. So that's basically the process of kind of going in and placing an order through there, creating a list. And then once you have a credit card on file, whether you're creating your own campaigns or you just want to use templates in here, you could schedule them out ahead of time. So you could say, I got, a St. Patrick's Day mailer coming up. I got, a quarterly market update coming up at in March, whatever it is, and schedule them out ahead of time. This way you don't have to scramble each month to figure out what you're sending out. We do have an easy auto farm. This is basically set it and forget it. There's a whole bunch of different monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly programs you can choose from. You can basically set the delivery dates. You could change the different content, and basically schedule out your mailers for the year. In my opinion, something like this is probably better used if you're mailing to like a sphere of influence or a database or people that know you. These are more lighthearted and just like holiday stuff. Versus if you're farming an area of a bunch of people that don't know you, you want to provide value to them. You want to give them, market updates, local information, kind of why choosing a realtor matters, things like that, that are probably going to be more important to somebody that doesn't know you as you're trying to kind of build that relationship. So that's kind of the general overview of setting up mail campaigns on here. ordering them. And then you'll be able to see, I'll go into an agent's account here real quick. Uh, to show you like once the leads start coming in, what they look like, and how you can kind of keep track of all your campaigns. Um, Once you start sending out mailers, you're going to see this first tile on the home page here. It's going to start to fill up with the number of campaigns you sent out, the number of postcards you sent out, and the recipient code responses there. Those are people that scan the QR code. You could always check on any of your campaigns through here. So you can see mailers that you sent out. These are sent out a couple days ago. They haven't hit yet. For example, this one, 5 Academies, just a just sold card, and she got 2 scans. So this isn't some magic thing that I'm going to tell you like, hey, you're going to get 10 scans on every card. No, you might get one, you might get zero, you might get two, depending upon what the call to action is and what you're sending them to. But I tell agents, anytime you get something, definitely have a plan to follow up. Because people aren't scanning it for no reason. They're probably in that consideration phase. So when you see someone that scanned it, you can click into details, see the front and back of the card, and then you'll see the 2 addresses that scanned it. These are 2 addresses that scanned it, what time they scanned it, what date. And if you click into them, it will give you a link to white pages, which will sometimes give you some information, free information about the owners. Looks like they purchased it on February 23rd. This woman, Eileen Horowitz. Sometimes you get some mortgage information, some family information. But either way, no matter what, 100% of the time you're going to get the address. And that's an opportunity for you to kind of follow up with whoever it might be. Yeah, you'll see the date it got mailed, the date it's in home. And that's really it. So I'm not sure if you guys have any questions. But that's kind of the overview of kind of the program, the platform as far as mailing goes. Obviously, there's signage as well. You need open house signs, printed signs, yard signs, anything like that. That's all here. Brochures as well. You need fold over brochures for open houses, flyers. You want, really nice ones, maybe for a luxury house. You can have them here. Any order that's placed before 2 p.m. will print and ship and arrive the next day. It's a really quick turnaround. Yeah, overall that's pretty much it. Um, any questions from you guys? Yeah, sure.
If you select a street
Mhm.
farming area and ownership changes, is it going to be automatically updated in my list as well?
No. So any list that you create for free isn't going to have owner information. It's just going to be our neighbor's ad. If you purchase the target list, that will have the owner's name, but it'll just have it for the time that you have it. Like once you purchase that list, it's basically kind of like a snapshot of that time. If it changes, then you wouldn't know unless you got a new list on a further date. Yeah. Um, yeah, but that was a good question. Um, So yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit. If anybody has any questions or wants to talk one-on-one, I'm kind of always available via phone, Zoom, anything like that. If you need anything, or you want to just kind of sit down and say, hey, I'm thinking about farming this area. What's the best approach? What do you think I should do? I like I said in the beginning, my 2 biggest things are start small and be consistent. It doesn't matter what you do. In my opinion, you should use every channel of marketing you can, social media, email, direct mail, everything. But you want to do it efficiently and you want to do it consistently. It's all the same concept. If you're going to start posting on social media or you really want to use social media to grow your business, you can't post there once and expect to get a new listing. You're going to have to do it consistently. It's the same thing with direct mail. It's the same thing with email marketing. It's the same thing with talking to people, even if you're, cold calling. You're not going to cold call once and expect to get a listing. You got to do it over and over again. So whatever you decide to be your niche or you want to focus on, just do it consistently. And with direct mail, the biggest help to that is budgeting. If you have a lender or a title company that you do a lot of work with, a lot of times they're willing to co-sponsor it. You want to do something in a town, you have a, a buddy that's an electrician or a plumber and wants to get in on it. That's a great way to kind of keep the costs down too. We work with co-sponsors all the time. But like I said, start small, say, okay, I'm going to spend $100 a month, $200 a month, and say, okay, for the year, I'm going to spend $2,000 to try and invest in my business. If I get one new listing out of it, now I'm in the green. Now I like to tell agents, if you start a campaign and you're spending, let's say $200 a month, $2,400 for the year, when you get one listing out of it, think about it that you paid for that year and you've paid for next year. And then you've made a little money because now you have 2 full years of basically uh, market share and top of mind of all these people. And if you use a targeted list, those are people likely to sell. So think about it that way and then say, okay, now maybe that next listing or that next piece of business I'm going to get out of it. Now I'm going to take it from 200 addresses or 250 addresses to 500. Slowly start to build that pipeline that way. And the last thing I talk to agents about also is like when you think about getting that new listing, that new piece of business, um, it's not just that new piece of business. You're probably going to try and get a referral from it, right? And now they become a past client. So it's kind of compounds a little bit. It's not like, hey, I got this new listing and it's going to be a commission check for $7,000. Well, like also you should be able to get a referral from that or a repeat business from that. So that factors into it as well. They're all just kind of things to think about. And if you are going to start farming, last thing, definitely throw in like friends and family for your sphere because as if you don't already know, you probably find out real estate is heavily referral based business. I can't tell you how many agents I talk to where they think like, oh, I'm not going to mail to my aunt. She knows I'm a real estate agent. I'm automatically going to get that business. Well, theoretically, you should. But then I have agents come into me and they're like, oh, my aunt forgot I was, an agent and she lists their house with someone else. That's business you should have locked down. So for an extra, whatever it is, 75 cents, every other month or something to send them something just to remind them that you're in the business, it's worth it because like you need to lock down that business. The referral business is key. So I always say, especially agents starting out, get together your 25, whatever top people that you're like, hey, these people are going to send me referrals and send something to them. It doesn't have to be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could be every other month, but you should be touching base with those people because that's where you're going to get a lot of your business. Um, so yeah, that's really it. You guys have any questions, feel free to reach out whenever. Like I said, I'll be hanging out here for a little while, and I look forward to meeting with you guys. Yeah, no problem.